So Kian's opening with a song. That works.
Oh
Hello
no, I've
guys
just
and
started.
welcome to episode 11 of the Locking It Down podcast. I did my countdown. So
Up in here.
this is the professionalism you have on the Liam White channel. So in today's episode we are covering three different topics. We're covering the lockdown, what it means, and a few tips to dealing with it and how you can keep your mental health up. Because I know a lot of people that last time went that suffered kind of mental health. So we're gonna speak about that. We're not experts. We're just gonna put that out there. We're definitely not experts. Um, but how we dealt with it and our experiences with the first wave. Our second topic is the U.S. election and just what's happening. We would love to give opinion, but we can't because there's a risk the video gets taken down. So it's just what's happening during in the US election, and if either side wins, what that means, facts-wise. And then our third topic, we're gonna end quite lightly with some Kian boxing, which I know you lot love. So Kian's gonna teach me some
Yes.
more boxing.
I do plan to try and teach you more because there's a lot of it that you
Yeah,
need to know. The thing
I'm
is
ready.
with the US stuff, it like you said we're going to try and explain it, but I don't think anyone knows what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's why I use the word try. Yeah.
Just a very awkward situation right now because no one knows what's happening. But that is the
Mm,
second topic. Let's start with the first one.
yeah. There will be quickly to say as well that I'm gonna put timestamps in the description because I know a lot of people
Yeah.
like different stuff. So, um, anyway, Kian, I'm gonna let you start here.
Well, you know.
Yeah, because I'm gonna actually open with a question for you. So obviously in the intro I touched about the mental health side, and luckily I think we were both okay. I know I struggled a little bit at the start, but then I got a bit better, and I think you were okay throughout. Is that correct?
Wait, what's that?
During the first
Like,
lockdown.
um, I had low points,
I
but
think everyone did, you know.
gen, but that wasn't necessarily because of lockdown. That was more from things that happened during it. But
Yeah.
I'd say my overall mood towards the end, it was more of being tired of it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that one.
But do I think I was suffering hugely? No, not really.
It's a good way to put it, to be fair. So,
I try.
go on.
I tried thinking of ways to deal with it, and because I think one of the worst things I did and why I got tired of it is because I sat around doing nothing for a large chunk of it.
Yeah, I think I
I'd
was the
say
same to start.
from about March, the beginning of it,
Yeah.
to about June, I was just doing nothing,
We're getting some
doing
comments playing
absolutely
already,
nothing.
which is quite nice. So I check the comments. But carry on, mate.
I'll get on with that in a second. Yeah, I just wasn't doing anything. Then past June, I started doing stuff, but that's when the events happened, and it slowed things down. Obviously, I didn't feel motivated to do much, but nah, I'd say from October, I've been fine as wine. But now we're going back into a second lockdown, so it's a bit of a weird one.
Hmm. We're already in it, aren't we? We're already 2 days in.
Yeah,
Um,
also just saying, we was meant to be doing this on the day of it,
yeah,
but
that's my
someone got
fault.
stranded somewhere
Yeah.
because of what?
What? It's his fault.
Jack Warlord. Check him out.
Yeah, he's not JW Games anymore, it's just Jack Warlord, isn't it?
No, just watch out for what?
Jack Warlord! People got me on Snapchat though, they'll
Um,
know what we're talking about.
yeah. So what would you say your experience over lockdown was? Because you was working, wasn't you?
So, I was working two jobs still during lockdown, and they had uni. So I was like solid. I was busy most days, and then the days I weren't busy, we were recording something, whether it be a Locking It Down, which is where it actually first came from. Actually, the Locking It Down podcast came out because of lockdown.
Well, yeah, we made yeah, that's where the idea came from.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I was okay. Luckily as well, I lived in a village, so I had places that I could go and like walks that I could do, which really helped. Because when you've gone from uni, you pack up your stuff at uni and then you go back home to your parents. It's definitely a different atmosphere. But yeah, like I said, I was working two jobs, so I was busy most days. I was also in the process of trying to move house, which was meant to happen in the first lockdown, but got delayed, and luckily we got it across the line. We've only just got it across the line, so but yeah, like I was all right. Obviously everyone had low points because I wasn't allowed to see you. I couldn't see Drew and people like that. Seeing not being able to see your friends sucks, and I'll make a point on that later actually. But yeah, as a whole, I think I was okay with it. But again, it's a completely different situation because I was busy most of the time. So if I wasn't, I wondered if it would have been different.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, during it wasn't a full lockdown ever.
No,
Wasn't a
there
full
is that as
grand
well.
scale, everything is shut
Yeah.
lockdown. You'd still travel by train. Fair few things were still open.
I mean, it got to a point where we actually spoke about calculate risk of seeing each other during it. We didn't in the end. I had the same conversation with Drew, which I didn't see apart from in the village. But I think probably a lot of people had that conversation of like
Hmm.
what is safe. But I think we both, as a collective whole, I think we both did quite well at like sticking to the rules. But I know a lot of people didn't, and I don't really blame them for that because they weren't enforced. Really,
I,
none of the
I, I
rules was
think
actually enforced.
I don't think there's been a single person who's managed to go through without breaking a rule at some point.
Oh no, I agree with that. We did it to the
I don't
best of
think
our
like
abilities, but I think we broke rules.
someone will have. I have.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I in shops sometimes forgot to stand 2 meters apart, which I then apologised for to them. Um,
Yeah,
but
inadvertent
it
stuff
was
like
nothing
that.
major.
No.
Nothing major. Um, a way to stay safe from it. Well, the usual things: wash your hands,
Always carry hand
wear a
sanitizer, which I've
mask.
learned,
Well,
just
here's
in
the
case.
thing. I I saw something the other day. It was um, so England. We've been told to wear masks.
Yeah.
Sweden have been told not to.
Yes, that is correct.
But there's this. there is the same death rates.
Hmm.
So have the masks actually been helping?
I don't see, because let's be honest, you get protective
It's a
mask.
virus.
You get protective mask, right? That's the one with the breathing hole and the air filter that you change. The shit that we wear, I don't like. I did a test, so I put it up to my eye one day, washed it out, and when I was drying it, I was like, I wonder if I can see through this. Put it up to my eye. You can see through it. If you can see through it, the coronavirus particle, if you have it, is tiny. It'll get through the holes. Like, I
Um,
don't know. Obviously, I'm going to keep wearing them as a safety precaution. I don't know if they'll
well, you
work or
have
not.
to.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you
Um,
don't have to wear it outside. And
no.
if I was walking down the high street, even with you, I put my mask on as a
Oh,
precaution. But
I wouldn't put the mask on.
mm,
There's no need to.
true, I mean, you're
There, there isn't a
basically
need to do it.
you're basically rubbing
Um,
shoulders anyway, aren't you?
so, another thing, Sweden are a much bigger country than us, right?
Yeah.
Got a fair few more people. How do we have near enough the same death rates as them?
Don't know. I mean, we're
Something's
us
happening.
us in America are the top two. Like, if you're taking percentage of death compared to population, us in America are the top two. How is that? Two, let's say, well-developed country, because we are. Like, I
Of
don't
course, we're a
understand.
well-developed country.
Yeah,
It's why Europe want to retain us.
yeah.
Well, the EU want to retain us. I need to say that more often.
Mm.
There's the EU, not Europe.
Yeah, we're still part of Europe.
Yes. Um, but yeah, uh, do the maths actually help? I'm not sure.
Jaden, sorry, Jim's made a really good point in the comments. Um, it's like the placebo effect. We get told to wear a mask.
Explain.
We get told to wear a mask, so in our brains it makes sense, and the effect, basically, the effect is, I think what he's trying to say is, like, we're being told to wear a mask, so in our brains we think that makes us safer. But does it? Is there proof? Correct
Um,
me, Jim, if I'm wrong in reading the comment, but that's how I see it. That is true as well. Any deaths recorded in hospital that has a COVID ward is recorded as COVID. That is true.
yeah, for some reason, like last year there was 40,000 flu deaths. This year there's been none.
Yeah,
There's been zero. So what's happened? Have we cured the flu?
exactly.
I don't know why people are thinking there's going to be a vaccine as well.
There is,
Because I'm
but
not
in
being,
a year's time,
no, no,
minimum.
no, I'm not taking it. It takes years to make a vaccine.
Yeah, I'm not taking it. I'm the
If
same
you
as you.
take if you take a bad vaccine, you could die.
Well, the one that fucking
And
Oxford are working on alters your DNA. I'm not taking that. I'm
yeah,
not getting
no
my
thank
DNA being altered.
yeah, no thank you. That's some serious stuff right there. And frankly, I don't need my DNA altered.
No. I would rather not be a guinea pig, not have the vaccine, and then if in 10 years, like when people have children, the children are fine and everything's fine with their body, and it becomes part of the flu jab, I might have it. But until the proof's there,
Oh.
I'm not doing it.
I've been sent two letters to go for testing.
Have you?
Yeah. The first one was all in black. The second one they added red font to I guess to try and scare me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not going for anything like that. I'm not interested at all.
No.
If I get coronavirus, am I going to die?
The
No,
likelihood
I'm
is for
not.
you, no. And for me, no.
It's like the average death and like age of death is 82.
Where have you got that from?
That's from all the statistics. Yeah, the average age death is 82
Right.
because it is very rare that someone under 40 dies from it. Very rare.
Yeah.
Like you get the odd case, but that can happen with the flu as well. That can happen from a bad cold.
Yeah, it depends how bad your immune system is. Because if your immune system's shit, you can get it taken out by a common cold.
It's a bit like, oh, we need to protect the old. Yeah, you don't say, but we also need to protect them from the flu as well, because that kills them too.
Yeah. That's why we got a flu jab. But
I don't like how, for some reason, everyone has become a health expert.
yeah.
Like I'm saying, like the statistics and all that, but do I claim that I am a genius when it comes to this? No, of course
I
not.
mean, just go back to the
It's not my
intro.
job to say this.
Like, go back to the intro. I do say that we're not experts in this field at all, but it's our opinion. Like,
It's a bit like the Sidemen when I was doing pub golf. Don't copy us. We're not role models.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't trust. Bill Gates is getting dodgy, saying, "Please take my vaccine. Please take my vaccine."
Yeah.
No, Bill. No, no one's taking it. It's just weird. I'm not trusting much nowadays.
No. You're right not to be fair. Until we've got proof it works. If we have proof it works, then yeah, I'll take the vaccine.
Sometimes it takes years for a
Yeah, I
vaccine
know.
to start showing its effects.
Yeah,
It
that's
can
why I
make
said 10
you
years.
infertile, make you
Yeah, that's
infertile, you can't have kids. Or you can have kids, but the kids are going to have some very serious birth defects. Um, yeah, just all sorts of stuff can happen from a vaccine. That's why it takes years of testing. Do I believe that they've made a vaccine in a year, in less than a year?
absolutely
No.
not. I know they've got a T cell, but that's the one that alters your DNA, and I know you can make a T cell vaccine in less than a year, but like by using people's T cells and injecting that into you. But if you get that tiny bit wrong, and let's say you're a wrong blood type by a tiny bit or something, that can kill you. Like, the bloodstream will try and reject it, but if you're putting something straight into the bloodstream, that can actually kill you. So,
Yep, you can.
it's risk versus reward. Like, you know what? I'll test my luck. If I catch it, will I die? Hopefully not. But would I rather
When
have the potential of like not having kids when I die? No. No.
when you recover from COVID, you have a 6 week immunity.
Yeah. So that means you have to have the vaccine every 6 weeks.
No, if you had the vaccine, you'd like, let's say the vaccine was bad, the flu on it, it genuinely works.
Yeah.
One a year, and you should be alright.
Yeah.
But um, it's not a guarantee.
No.
if you do get it, it's just going to be a much less severe case.
Yeah. Ooh, over 50k. I'm gonna interrupt the recording of the podcast here. I've just opened a 50k pack with coins that got informed Benzema. That's
I've
pretty
just
sick.
seen that. I've just seen that. Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god, what have they done to Aaron
Yeah,
Geese?
Jim's just said, getting COVID a second time has worse effects. That happens with most things. Um, Again, it'll have worse effects, but do I think it will affect us? No, not a chance.
Hmm.
Like, I have a friend, Alfie. He's had COVID. He felt a bit rough, but he's recovered from it. He's just had surgery as well. Um, there's my friend Jaden right now. He's got COVID. He's feeling really rough.
Hmm.
Some people just have it different.
Yeah, some people are just hits differently, but
Like when
you know,
Idris Elba got it, he felt nothing. Donald Trump when he had it, he felt rough for a day and then was back to normal.
and then Boris almost killed him.
But yeah, Boris, it was 50-50 with him.
Yeah, so you just never know.
I think that changed Boris. I think
I mean,
nearly dying of COVID changed him and made him a bit soft.
yeah,
Which is a real shame, because I did support him before.
mm,
Never again. He's promised that by December 3rd lockdown will be over, yet he's just extended furloughs by 5 months.
yeah. I know why he's promised it though, because his party doesn't want it. I don't know why, but his party actually doesn't want it.
No, they
So
wanted to go on longer.
what?
Either they don't want it or they want it to go on until April.
Mm. Which none of them really. It's great, is it?
Do I think we should have gone into lockdown? Some areas, yes, not the entire nation.
Well, have you heard what Liverpool's getting?
What's that?
So Liverpool is under this new scheme where basically there's free tests for everyone. Symptoms or no symptoms, you can go in, you can get tested whenever you want. And apparently it's this new mass test that you can get your result in 20 minutes. Um, so that seems alright, and they're trialing it in Liverpool. Um, so I don't really know what to think about that, but
With this lockdown, they are destroying this generation, the next, and probably the next financially.
oh yeah,
Utterly destroying them. Like, students right now should be very worried because they are going to be losing out on a lot of money, not counting what they've already spent
yeah.
on uni.
Yeah, that is true.
Um, I mean, I think like people want to make jokes about it. Fine, it's just your kids and grandkids that are going to be suffering from this.
Yeah.
Uh, just an awful situation.
It's just another thing that 2020 going into 2021 throws at us, you know? Like,
I think, well, all the old people now can't say, "Oh, you young ones haven't been through hardship."
no. No, that is true.
Hmm. Well, the last global pandemic, the Spanish flu, yeah, that killed a lot more people. But if we had the medication and all the hospitals that we had today, do I think that many people would have died with it? Not a
No.
chance.
No way.
Um, yeah, it's just try, trying to get through this new lockdown, the second one, which was inevitable. I think I told you this, like off camera a while back, like in October, November time, we'll be going into another one.
Yep.
I think I
I,
told, like
yeah.
most of the people I know this. I'm not sure if I told Jim, who's watching, because I was coming.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, when when the chief medical advisor, I forgot his name now, you know the guy that does the presentations every Wednesday, when he
Yeah.
came out and the Sage report and told Boris the Sage report has said that if we don't go into lockdown, this is 21st of September this year, if we don't go into lockdown, it's about to rise. Sage says basically we need to go into lockdown. Boris turned around and was like, no, don't be silly. We're doing fine. If we had a circuit breaker lockdown when the um, when the numbers rose to like 500 people in hospital, I don't think we'll be in this national lockdown right now. Because in the month and a half since September 21st, we've gone from 500 people in hospital with COVID, with in like intensive care, not just like in hospital, but in like intensive care on the brink of death, to 11,000 as of today. No, sorry, as
How
of the
many
day we
deaths?
went. So at the time, it was about, it was just under 100 to 100 a day, and now we're back up to 900 a day.
I don't think that's true.
No, it is.
I don't think it is. I don't believe those figures. Because, like
Go have a
Jim
look.
said, every every single death that's in the COVID area is being put down as COVID. There's been things shown where guys have died of heart attacks, but because they was in the COVID unit, they've died of COVID.
Okay, but
I am not trusting those figures one bit.
okay, like we could say this if it was 500 up to 2-3,000, but 11,000 people in intensive care with COVID from 500. That's a massive
People that have,
increase.
people that have died in motorcycle accidents have been put down as COVID deaths, whether they had it or not.
Okay, well
Like they're
that's
putting they're putting everything down as COVID deaths to scare us. It's what they're doing. They're trying to scare us, and with most people, they're succeeding.
I'm just reading the
Am
figures,
I?
mate. Like, am I
Yeah.
scared?
Oh yeah.
Am I scared? Um, I've got an uncle with cerebral palsy. If he catches it, it's gone. Got a mum with can't actually remember the disease, but basically she has no.
Yeah.
She had to have a. Am I scared? Yeah, I'm scared for them. Am I scared for myself? No. If I was living at uni, would I still be going
What?
out?
What?
Probably.
What I've been saying this entire time? Afraid? Am I afraid? For the older ones in my family, yes.
Yeah, for my nan, for my uncle, for my granddad, for my mum and dad who have severe health conditions. Yeah. My sister caught it. I haven't actually told you this. In Sheffield. Luckily I've had no contact with her, and no one of the members of my family have, but she's caught it. She didn't feel anything, she just felt a little bit ill. And then messaged me saying, oh, I know you've been, like, to places, just be careful because I've caught it.
My
So, again, that was not really any symptoms. So,
my
has it
nan,
affected the
my
family
nan of
firsthand? Yeah, but not, luckily not to the extent that it could have.
my nan of 77 years of age had it. Had to go to hospital. She's fine now. She's lost a bit of weight.
Yeah.
Like she had that and an infection in her. I think it was her liver. So not a good combination, and she's fine now.
What, a lung disease and a liver disease at the same time? Definitely
I
not.
mean, you've seen like the ones where like oh, a 102-year-old with serious lung and heart problems survives COVID. Oh, the one who survived the Spanish flu and
Oh yeah. I mean,
COVID.
she's just fucking hard as nails, isn't she though? Like,
The scaremongering doesn't get to me.
the scaremongering did get to me in the first lockdown because it was brand new.
I
But
know
now
it
I know
did,
more
yeah.
about it.
Just tell me about.
It's the same. Like, am I scared for my family? Yeah. Am I scared for myself? No. Is there precautions in place that we do?
What?
That's probably over the top. Like, we wipe down our shopping. If we go shopping, we wipe it down. Is that over the top? Potentially. Is it worth it for my mum and dad? Absolutely. It's like risk versus reward. Again, it's back to that. It's calculated risks. You know? Can we afford? Like, if we don't wipe it down today, what if? Kind of thing. So,
Mm.
like, I think everyone should approach it in the way that they feel comfortable approaching it. That's how I think we should do it. Is it bad? Yeah, of course it's bad. A lot of people have died, but it depends on the person.
We have to learn to live with it.
Yeah. And what I assume Jim's commenting. I will get to it. Sorry, mate. I'm just in a game.
He's just said that he's not worried about it.
Fair play. But is that the view of us? Because we know if we catch it, we're 99.9% likely not going to die.
There's a 0.01% chance of us dying.
Yeah, it's probably less than that. It's probably 0.001 or something. I don't quote me on that. I don't know
If
the
you
exact figures, but
if you look at the symptoms, the flu gives you more symptoms.
yeah, depends what it attacks though. But you know,
Each person is different.
yeah. I can't believe he scored two goals.
Um, I I think the media just don't listen to them now. Just trying to terrify everyone
Yeah.
every single day. A very left-wing media. Not saying I'm right-wing, I'm down the middle.
I'm probably more right than I am left, but I'm more likely down the middle of the same issue.
God, you definitely support Tommy Robinson.
What? Because I'm a tiny bit right wing.
Tommy Robinson.
Oh god.
Um, I'm going to say something about Tommy Robinson. His work trying to go down on the paedophile ring that's all across the country. I think his work there is really good,
I agree.
and I think it's a shame that the police keep trying to arrest him for stopping the paedophiles. I think it's a terrible shame. What kind of state is this country in that we're protecting the paedophiles?
What kind of a state, right? That if someone rapes you and you grab a bat and hit them over the head and inadvertently kill them, you do more time in prison than the fucking person that raped you. If he got caught or she got caught. How how does that work? Like, that's my
Yeah, it
question about it.
shouldn't work.
Why?
That's what it is.
How do
It
we have a
shouldn't
legal
work, but
system
it
where
does.
that is a thing?
We have a legal system that for some reason you're not allowed to be drunk in a pub.
Yeah.
Like those stupid rules. You can't. Well, I think I got this from the Simon video. What the Simon reacts where they reacting to silly laws, and you can't go out and bang on your carpet to like get the dust out of it before 8 o'clock, or it's an actual offence. Unless it's a doormat, then it's okay. Like this is what we're working with. You can't
We
bang
need a
out
full
on that
we need a full
before
rewrite
eight.
of the justice system. I'm not one of these people that bring
Um,
back a death penalty, but
I think some crimes,
if someone
if
raped,
you can
if I had a
fully,
daughter or a son, because it works both ways, and someone raped them or sexually abused them, because apparently female can't rape, which is also yeah. Um, like I don't know what I'd do if I found the guy and just battered him to death. I'd be doing time for a, taking out a horrific member of society. Now, does that mean a shop owner can, like, someone robs the shop and they like, put 2 bullets in his head? No, obviously not. But an eye for an eye? Like,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
we should go back to an eye for an eye
No, 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 no,
because
no, not. That's what I mean. Like, don't obviously like if someone robs you and you shoot them. Yeah, that's a bit different to someone raping
you're
you.
defending yourself is different.
Yeah.
Let's say if I kill, I don't know, if I kill your friend, you then can't kill one of my friends in retaliation.
No, 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 that's not what I meant. I did say that completely wrong. But
But that's what an eye for an eye is.
yeah, yeah.
That's the Old Testament ways. The reason we wrote the New Testament is to say those ways are outdated. Here's the new way of how things should be. Um,
Yeah,
I
obviously we're not gonna go back to the ways of a book that may or may not have been written 2,000 years ago.
I think
Right.
I think the death penalty, if you can fully prove that it was them
Yeah.
and they did the crime, like paedophiles, rapists, murderers, and so on, who did all those like heinous acts, they should be put to death, in my opinion.
I could get behind that.
Now, at my old work, um, we used to have a gentleman come in who is a convicted child molester. But because he served his time, we couldn't tell him, you can't come in here. And every time I saw him, I just wanted to throw him out of the place.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at him like you are a disgusting person.
I don't
But
understand how child molesters, 15 years inside? Like, and if you
he
act
got
well in
8,
prison, you got 8. Yeah, exactly. If you
eight
act
years,
good in prison, they'll let you out early. What's that about?
eight,
Because they
eight
put in
years
some
for
guards.
2 children, 2 children,
Oh my
not just
god.
one, two.
For me, that's life, and that's actual life. None of this 25 years is life shit. If you rape or
No,
sexually abuse a child, you either get death,
death.
or a life sentence. Fucking do it the American ways. Life is 500 years. If you do it at 30 and you
Life
survive
these
till
days.
530, fucking good on you. Go back, but it's not gonna
What
happen, is
what
it?
I don't what I don't understand. Do you know Charles Bronson?
I do, yes.
Yes. He is a man who it's almost like he can't help but commit crimes. Like he's just a violent person. And he was supposed to get a life sentence in the UK, but a life sentence is ultimately, I think he got
25
20
years.
years.
20 years. Didn't even do the full quote unquote life sentence. Jesus
No, no,
Christ.
he's still in prison today. He's 35 years in.
Right.
Now, in my opinion, that's wrong. Because realistically, I don't think he's ever killed anyone. He's never raped anyone. He's not done anything with children. He's just a bit of an angry man who can't help but get in trouble.
Well, that's psychological. That's something completely different.
Oh yeah, he's mentally wise, screwed. Nowadays, he seems because I think he's in his 70s now, so I think he might have calmed down a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But they just refuse to let him out, and it's a bit 50-50
A
really.
child
On
molester
like,
can fucking be let out after 20 years and walk into House of Fraser and goes to the kids section if they want to. What?
hmm, I know,
This is
it's
not
awful.
the way I thought the podcast would be going tonight, but you know what?
No,
Like,
this is
it's come
this,
here
I
and
want to bring up something, and it is literally so off topic, but it's something that I like because obviously you know that if I had a time travel machine and I could go back to any era, I'd go back to the cowboy era
I do know that, yes.
because me, I love that era. I do all my research on it, got all the
If Kian
Butch
bought
Cassidy, Billy the Kid, all of them.
if Kian bought a pair of cowboy boots and started wearing them around town, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't do that. I'd look like Elton John's toy boy, but I, I, I could go back there. But everyone knows Wyatt Earp,
Everyone apart from me,
don't they?
apparently.
You know, do you know? Have you never heard of Wyatt Earp?
No.
Wyatt Earp is the embodiment of the American dream. He was a lawman, an outlaw, uh, a carriageman. That's when he ran a whole business with like carriages. He was a pimp. He did everything. But as a lawman, he retired and then he went to a town called Tombstone, which is still around today.
I'm reading
It's
it
the
right
biggest
now,
resort for
yeah.
cowboys. Um, he's very infamous with some people.
Right.
Like he people are unsure whether he's a hero or villain. Now the story of Wyatt Earp is
I mean, he lived
turns up
until
in
he lived
Tombstone.
until 81.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was a cowboy that actually made it to like the
Yeah.
modern era. He became a boxing referee as well. That's why I like him a lot.
Ah, that makes sense.
Um, but yeah, he turned up in a town called Tombstone,
Yeah.
and he was asked, "Do you want to be our sheriff?" He refused because he was like, "I'm retired now. I just want to get on with my life."
Yeah.
He saw the state that the town was in because it was infested with gangs. One of them was run by Johnny Ringo, who is an infamous
I know
cowboy
that
himself.
name.
Johnny Ringo, yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the leaders of the gang. So Wyatt Earp and his four brothers decide, okay, we're going to run this town.
Right.
So they all take charge. They're, they're the deputies. There's a difference between deputies and lawmen. They were
Right.
deputies, and Wyatt was the sheriff.
Okay.
They did things very unorthodox. They took the law in their hands.
I mean,
They're,
technically,
I'm not
is
sure if
that
you ever.
law?
What happened is one of the members of Johnny Ringo's gang killed the old sheriff, and that's what convinced Wyatt to be like, okay, I need to take charge now.
Yeah.
Shot him dead in the street accidentally. He didn't mean to do it, but he still killed him. So if you want to learn more about it, watch the film Tombstone. It's
Okay.
great. It's got I can't remember his name, but he's great. Um, and it's just Wyatt Earp amidst a crowd of people and a gang coming towards him going, let our man go now. And Wyatt is like, no, I'm taking him in. And he just stands them all off. It was so cool. And later on, progresses, the gangs are just getting more and more unruly and they want to take out Wyatt, the Wyatt family. So they kill one of his brothers
Right.
and they paralyze uh, his oldest brother's right arm. Like he can't. They shoot it, and it. I think it killed all the nerves or something, and he couldn't use it anymore.
Right.
So Wyatt was. But before that, the biggest gunfight in Western history happened at the OK Corral. Not sure if you've heard of this.
Was there not a
Some
film
members of
made about that?
yeah, Tombstone.
Yeah, but another
It
film.
shows the scene. Uh, Probably yeah. Uh, yeah, there's loads about it.
I
It's
know
the
the
most
place
infamous gun.
name, and I know the infamous gunfight, and I can vaguely picture like a
It's the
motion
most
picture or
famous
film.
gunfight ever.
Yeah.
Most famous gunfight ever. Essentially, what happened was the gang had been making threats to the Wyatt family, and they was like, we can't let them say this stuff, but we can't do anything about it. And then Wyatt Earp is just like, yeah, we can. Gets his friend Doc Holliday, who was another infamous outlaw himself.
Right.
So it's three Wyatt brothers, Doc Holliday. They walk over to the gang, but a lawman. The reason they said they was going to go over there is to confiscate the weapons. A lawman ran up to the Earps and was like, "Don't worry, you don't need to go over to them. I've already confiscated the weapons." And they've just essentially said, "Okay, we're still going over." And he said, "I'm not going to let you have any trouble." They go over, they point their guns at each other, and then the biggest shootout in the history of the Wild West happens. Now, after that, people start splitting on Wyatt Earp. And it leads to the event where his brother dies and this other one has to leave the town because he's paralysed on one side and he can't do anything and he'll just easily be killed. So Wyatt Earp kills Johnny Ringo's right-hand man while he was unarmed because he knew in the previous court hearings where he tried getting him in, he knew he'd get off free. So he killed him before he could do anything else. Is that justified? Would you justify that? Would you say he did the right thing? Because people either call him a vigilante or an outlaw. The vigilante, he's a hero who took the law into his own hands. But the outlaw, he broke the law and became a criminal.
I'm gonna say vigilante.
And then there's the whole...
I think that he has, by killing that man, he has saved others a lot of pain in the town. So, yes, he's broken the law, but it's his law anyway, right? I mean, he's the lawman, so...
It's very complicated because it's a bit like the UK Parliament. Boris is in charge, but if he didn't have the majority, he would have to get the permission off the rest of Parliament.
Yeah.
So it's a very awkward one. So he's got half. There's rumours that the law got Johnny Ringo's gang to go after the Wyatt's family. So Wyatt's like, okay, I need to kill everyone now. Goes in, finishes the gang off, and then has to, I think he has to leave town because they're like, we're gonna die here.
Yeah.
The lawmen want us, and whatever criminals are left are going to be gunning for us.
Yeah.
Honestly, the story of Wyatt Earp is such an interesting one. But again, the question is, do you see him as a good guy or a bad guy? Because I think I may have told it for us.
I don't think it's as simple as that. I don't think it's as simple as that. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? Neither. But he's not a completely good guy because he killed someone. But he's not completely bad because the morals of the killing, he saved his family, he saved his people that he was deputy of, and I know in Wild West America, like the deputies and the chiefs took their jobs really seriously.
Honestly, you need to watch Tombstone. You need to watch Tombstone because
I'm gonna watch it. Like, you sold it to me.
Doc Holliday will become your favourite person ever. It's played by Val Kilmer.
Okay.
And his voice, because some guy calls out Wyatt for like a duel. He's like, I want your blood, and I want your soul, and I want them both right now. And then Wyatt's like, I'm not fighting you. There's no money in it. And he's like, why don't you play for blood? Doc Holliday, by the way, is dying of tuberculosis the whole film, yet he's still one of the baddest people around. And he just steps out and he's like,
sounds
I'm
like
your
someone
Huckleberry.
else that we know and we love.
Oh, that was the inspiration for Arthur Morgan.
Yeah.
That was the inspiration for Arthur Morgan's death. 100%. A man who went fighting to the end. Yeah. When he gets his jaw and he's like, why, Johnny Ringo? You look like somebody just walked over your grave. He's so cool. Like I'm a
Um,
nerd for cowboys.
yeah. I think the whole
You
stream knows
know,
that already, so.
you know what? If George Michael came onto me in the street and was like, "Oh, come with me, darling," I'd be like, "Okay." I think if Doc Holliday did that as well, I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go." Not because he's good looking or anything, it's just because he's so cool.
Yeah. I again,
Uh,
like, back to your question. I don't think he's neither good or bad because he's done a bad thing with good intentions and good morals. So it's not a straight up answer, which is where the problem with the law comes in.
the thing is, why he killed that guy? Remember when I said he went to court multiple times?
Yeah.
In a letter that Wyatt wrote, he said that the judge told him, "Listen, you ain't gonna clear the scum out of this town this way. You need to come across in a more brutal manner."
Hmm.
Personally, I think he's a hero.
Like I said, he's more vigilante. He's more hero than he is villain because the morals are
He's a
good. But
hero. He's a hero who had to do bad things, ultimately, for the good of everything.
so he's an anti-hero
So
because he's a
he's
good
he
man
sacrificed.
that sacrificed his own, um, well, his own what's it called, moral compass for the saviour of the town. So he's a good man that is remembered for bad things, which basically is the definition of an anti-hero.
He's not necessarily remembered for bad things because, like I said, it's very split. People are unsure
Yeah.
because you get some people go, "Yeah, he's not a good man." Then you'll get someone like me who's like, "Yeah, he was great."
Yeah.
It, the gunfire, OK Corral, Jesus, that's never split anyone in America quite like that. That whole thing was mental. See, that's where people would go, "He's a bad guy," because again, the lawman went to them and said, "We've taken their guns, so if they've already been checked and taken care of, why did they feel the need to go and still see him?"
I
It was
thought you
very
said it.
obvious.
I thought you
They
said it was a
wanted to kill him.
gunfight. So I assume
It was a
both
gun.
sides had guns.
No, no. What essentially what it was is
It was just a mass murder.
four. It was like 4v5.
Right.
Two of them had guns on the gang side. All the Wyatts, they had pistols and shotguns. The
Right.
gang, they had two pistols. One of them was I think two of them were unarmed and one had a knife. The Wyatts turned up and said, "We've come here to confiscate your weapons, hold up your hands." The gang are like, "Hang on." So they immediately go to their guns, well, the guns that they have, and are like, "We don't trust this." And the Wyatts and Doc Hardy are like, "No, no, this isn't what we want." But according to witnesses, it is very split because in some of the papers they said Weil was completely justified in what he did, and he did it ever so bravely. And then
Yeah.
there's some going, when Wyatt turned up at that place ready to mow those young men down, it was like something I'd never seen. So it was
We
the
still have
intention
that problem. Is still in today's
intentions were very
papers.
clear.
Yeah.
They were going to kill them,
Yeah.
and they wanted to kill them. There's a very famous bit where in the gang there was two brothers, one older, one younger. The older one was a massive coward.
Right.
He wasn't even really a part of the gang. He was more of a representative. And when the gunfight's happening, he runs up to Wyatt and is like begging for his life.
Yeah.
And is like, please don't shoot me. I'm not a part of this. And then the famous line of Wyatt going, the fight's commence, get to fighting or get away. And he throws him off him. Now that line, oh, it's giving me chills. The fight commenced, get to fighting or get away. Oh, yes. That's what we like. Like, film-wise, that's what we like, but real life. Did the gang members deserve it? Probably. Should have happened like that? No, absolutely not.
No.
But for the long-term effects, I think the people need to be a bit more grateful.
Did the Wyatts save their town? Yes. Did they Did they do it in a just manner? Probably not.
They saved it while they were there. After that, it was it was towards, like, it wasn't the end of the cowboy era, but it was the 1800s. Like, the cowboy era didn't actually last that long. It was from the late 1870s till about the late to early 1900s. Okay, it wasn't that long of a period.
Because you've got...
And this happened
Red Dead then. Because you've got Red Dead 2 that's set in, what, 1884?
No, Red Dead 1 is set in 1914, so
Yeah.
that is past.
Yeah,
1911
I knew
to
that
1940, so that is past. That's past. That's not the cowboy era. They need to point out that wasn't the cowboy era.
Complete outlaws.
No, it's not even that, because outlaws were the cowboy era. It's just that it showed the story of, because it showed it all in the second one, which is 1889. The cowboy era is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Gangs like them can't be around anymore. The country is evolving to the modern way.
Well, 1914
That's what it
was
is.
the first year of World War One. Because World War One was 14 to 18, wasn't it? So, America was completely industrialized in
Yeah, that's what happened.
1914.
America got industrialized.
Because the American Industrial Revolution happened, what, 20 years after ours? Something like that. I think ours was around
Something like that.
1860. I'm not sure.
It's a weird one because Red Dead, like I said, I think story-wise, it's the best. To me, it's the best story a game's ever made. Just the amount of detail they go in is amazing.
1860. I'm 100 years too late.
It's
1760.
Red Dead is one of the most tragic tales you'll ever see.
Wait, Red Dead.
Because
I haven't even fully played it yet.
the final scene in Red Dead 1, when it's 1914 and Jack avenges the death of all of his former gang members, it's so sad. Because all the gang wanted was money, but the good ones in the gang were like, we need to get Jack out of this and make sure he lives a good life so he doesn't have to do this.
Yeah.
And to see him fall into the thing of, oh, he's gone and killed someone, it's heartbreaking to see.
Wait, doesn't he
Because there's a moment
drop the gun?
he doesn't drop it, but after he shoots Edgar Ross, spoiler alert, he just sort of stands there for a second, looks at the gun. Yeah, he just looks at the gun and puts it away and then just walks off.
Yeah, that's it. He doesn't drop it. He kind of like holsters it and
See, a good thing is though in GTA there's a little Easter egg. I found this. If you look on Franklin's bookshelf, you can see a book written by Jack Marston. So I think he did make it out of it alive, and he did
That's
live a
cool.
good life because he became an orphan, which is what he wanted to always be.
Oh, that's
Whereas
really cool. I like that.
John at first wanted him to become an outlaw like him. Well, actually, no. At first, John didn't even want him to be his son.
Right.
Tried everything to deny it, but then as time went on, he embraced Jack and wanted to. Still didn't believe he could become like a story writer because there wasn't that much in it.
Yeah.
But then
By the end of the
when he
game, he
kills
just really
Marquette
just
again,
doesn't
and
want.
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
When John Marston dies and he says goodbye to his fam, it's heartbreaking. I don't cry to many games, but both endings to that
Oh,
got gets me every time. When Jack, when he's like, "Now go get," and he watches his family ride away, and he just stares, and he knows he's finished.
yeah.
He knows he's going to die. Oh, because there's that little bit in you, even with Arthur, when you know he's dying of tuberculosis, like they say he survives, but ultimately it happens.
It's like the thing is about the TV angle. It's there from the start of the game. You don't like. I'm not sure about you, but I didn't realise it at all. Like nothing in my brain clocked on until he said he had
Well,
tuberculosis. Because I've watched a
I,
playthrough, obviously, but yeah, I didn't clock on at all.
I clocked on within 2 days of playing it. Because I
Right.
got to know straight away you love Arthur. You're like, oh my god, this
Arthur,
guy's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Then I got to the mission where he goes to collect that debt and gets tuberculosis, but you don't know that he gets tuberculosis.
yeah.
And then I realise Arthur's not in the first game. I don't. And I said to myself, don't get invested in Arthur. He's probably going to die.
Oh,
But I couldn't help but love him.
I put those two together, but the TV angle, like the coughing around camp and everything, I didn't realise that. And like watching it back a second time,
No, me neither.
it's so
I
obvious.
noticed he was coughing more.
Yeah, I like
I know, yeah.
I'd like watching the playthrough. Like, oh, he's coughing. Ah, that's a really good touch, that is.
If
That's
if you
what I saw it
look,
as.
I'll tell you something. If you look at his face as time develops up until the point he gets TV, but literally, I remember because you get diagnosed just after you come back from Guam, and um, I went to go get a haircut because my hair grew out really long and I liked it short on the game. And I looked at my face and I was like, Arthur looks really bad. But I thought, oh, he's just come from a desert island. He's not going to look the best right now.
No, again, like, oh, that's a really good touch from Rockstar.
Yeah. I love that. Literally, we didn't think he was ill, even when it was like in cutscene. It was like, oh, we could give you this. He's like, oh, just gonna,
Yeah,
just coughing. You kids get out of here.
didn't even clock on.
One of the saddest elements was the Mary Linton storyline. Did you play that?
Like I said, I haven't played the game.
Well, there's a woman who Arthur's very sweet on.
Yeah.
Since they were young, always been sweet on each other, but obviously Arthur's a criminal. She's a very nice lady. She doesn't want to be a part of that life, but she can't help but like Arthur. And they
Like
have
all
this
superheroes.
dynamic where it's a dynamic where Arthur feels used because when only time she wants to see him is when she needs help.
Yeah.
Because she knows, oh, I've got my rough and tough cowboy to call upon if someone's causing me trouble. Then they meet again after he saves her brother.
Hmm.
Meet up in a big city, and you help her get like a family like heirloom back, and then you get the choice of going on a date with her. And if you're stupid if you don't go, yeah,
It's
and
a
you
video
play
game.
this real
You say
interesting.
yes. Like, that's
Yeah.
how it works.
Oh, getting the heirloom back, you play this bit and like you're chasing down her father or something, or just like stalking him. And there's a bit where she pulls you in against a wall, and you're literally like face to face, and it's like, oh my God, are they? Are they gonna? Oh my God! And it gets you so invested on this like small little side thing because it doesn't have to happen. If you don't read the letter that's on your thing, it'll go away.
Hmm.
It doesn't need to happen. But you go on this date, go to the cinema or some, not cinema, the theatre,
Yep.
and then there's a bit where you're walking and she's gonna go to a carriage because she's got to go, and she just looks at Arthur and she goes, "It's not too late, is it?" And Arthur's like, "No, but Mary, I love the cough. He's great at the cough. Um, Mary, I've got to be honest. I'm a wanted man. I have thousands on my name." And Mary's like, "Run away with me right now. We can get out of this place, and they won't ever find you." And he's like, "I want to more than anything, but I've got some people I need to help before I go. As soon as they're dealt with, I can come with you. As soon as I get some money as well." But Mary's like, "Ah, you're never gonna change, are you?" And that's the last um, she ever sees of him. And it's really heartbreaking. And when Arthur dies in the credits, it shows Mary stood o stood over his grave crying. Oh, and my heart. Oh, it's so sad. There's pee in it. Because, oh yeah, the second game is like, oh, when John kills Michael, like, oh yeah, you're supposed to feel happy. No, you know what happens to him. He gets killed in the most brutal fashion. He gets shot like 20 times. And it's like he dies quick. He stands there for like 20
He
seconds and you
takes
just
the
bleed.
bullets, man. He
Oh.
takes the bullets, and you're just watching it unfold. I remember that is generally the most powerful game of the PS3 era for me.
And what's annoying,
Because I played it when I
and
was
that,
young, like, played it when I'm
yeah.
probably not meant to play it, like everyone did. But like, that game has never left me. That game is up there.
The
It's
most
that
hard,
and What Remains of Edith Finch, the two emotional games I've ever played. Oh, and
what
Tomb
makes it
Raider.
even more heartbreaking, you think he's out, because he did everything for Edgar Ross. You think he's out, and you think, okay, I can live my life on my farm now. But no, Edgar has to go and ruin it.
Twat
Has
face.
to ruin it by turning up, killing John, then 3 years later, Abigail dies, and Jack's left all alone.
Mm.
And then he goes to the similar life of his dad, not quite, but he has to kill people. So now his name is, and he doesn't just kill anyone, he kills one of their most decorated, like, workers. So he will be like on the run if he gets ever found out.
Mm.
So it's just sad. If
The
they make a
the
third one,
master name isn't. It's not lovely, is it?
it's
It's
a very
unfortunate.
sad state of the
Yeah.
family.
If you're
But
unfortunate enough to have the last name Master, you know what? Actually, no. Like I was about to say if they do make a third one, we can play as Jack. But again, that would be probably in.
no,
If that was
because
set in
that's
1914, that'd be like 1920,
that's
1925. It's way too
that's
late.
when World War. Because I remember a feature they had. I was like, oh my God, that's really mental. In the newspaper in the first one when it's 1940 and it's like World War One begins, and I'm like, oh my God, like we're
Starts
not in the
really good.
cowboy era no more.
Yeah,
So
we're in
we're
the
not in the
industrial
cowboy era now.
era. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
golden era.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. But would I relive the journey of the Marston family? Of course I would. Because it's a great story.
If they
Tragic
remastered
story, but
both
it's
games
great
for
fun.
PS5, I'd probably pre-order it, like I did with Mafia.
I think the third one should be when it's. I think they should do a GTA style where you can play more than one character. I think it should be when it's Dutch, Arthur, and Hosea, and maybe not play as him, but have him as have him when he's younger. Have John there, because they're the first four in the gang.
Yeah.
Have it just be them when they're in the prime of the cowboy era. What would be more better than that? A proper,
So
because I
you're
know it's like
saying
a
go
proper
20
cowboy
years back
game.
and do like 1860s?
Yeah, go to 1800s when the cowboy era was ruthless. When it was, because both games have been. Well, one of them's not even in the cowboy era anymore. Like, we need a proper one where it's in the Wild West.
Yeah.
Like the first one in the industrial era. Second one, it's the Wild East. It's not even the West, it's the East.
You've got a point.
So they need to do one. Or there's another option: have Sadie Adler, and when you play Red Dead, oh my God, she will turn into your favorite character who isn't called Marston or Morgan. She is insane. I'm not even gonna spoil like things about her.
I am
Like,
gonna play the game, so yeah.
honestly, if anyone watching this has never played it, it is great.
Please play Red Dead.
Play it now. We're not gonna talk until you play it.
Get the 14-day free trial of PS Now. Play Red Dead 1 in those 14 days because it's on PS Now for free. Then go
I
and buy
don't
Red
get
Dead 2.
PS now. What is it?
PS3.
What is PS now?
Right, so you can pay £7 a month extra on top of the PlayStation Plus, and you get, I think at the moment there's like 500 games on there from the PS1, PS2, PS3 and PS4 era, and they go on to there and you can stream them directly to your PS4 and play them.
And will this be transferring to the PlayStation 5?
Yeah.
I might have to invest in the PS5. Yeah, I need that. Just saying, we haven't touched upon the US election yet.
No. Which is our next
And
topic.
we're already an hour and a half in.
What is it, 11 o'clock?
Well, 5 minutes it
Oh
will
my
be.
god. I haven't even been playing FIFA. They've had no gameplay.
No.
I've been too invested in Red Dead.
So, US election. We sort of don't really know what's happening right now. It looks like that Biden's won.
Donald Trump has just tweeted saying.
It looks like. What's he said?
Joe Biden should not wrongfully claim the office as the president. I could make that claim also. Legal proceedings are just now beginning, so he's taking it to the Supreme Court this evening.
But that's the thing. It's looking like. I just want to say one thing. I don't understand how Biden has won
No.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania
Donald
is
was.
Republican through and through. By the way.
Pennsylvania were
Since
100,000 ahead.
Since 1992, Pennsylvania has never been Republican.
See now, allegedly,
Yeah,
the
right, hold on
Democrats have
guys.
been
Allegedly. This is the key word. None of what we're about to say is fact.
allegedly,
Allegedly. Carry on.
allegedly, the Democrats have been cheating.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Allegedly, they're having more like votes in towns where that's not even like they're having more votes in towns than the actual population of the town. There's some cities where allegedly there's dead people voting for them in their name. Allegedly, they're handing out Sharpie pens to people who are voting because they know that it won't go through and it doesn't count. Allegedly. Again, none of that is facts,
No.
but it's stacking up. There's a fair few things. I think is a very much if Biden wins, we either put up or shut up
Yeah.
and accept a alleged cheater, or again it goes to court
Which apparently it
because
is. Because Trump's just made it official.
yeah, so it's going to court because Biden's won.
If it goes to court, right, and Trump has no evidence and they look into it and Trump is found out to be a liar about the alleged comments and Biden is free and Biden has done no cheating and the Democrat Party has done no cheating, I don't see a Republican president for probably the next 2 terms. With such a
Depends
big
who's
claim,
running.
it does depend who's running, and I know it's a big claim to make, but like with such a bit. Okay, I'm gonna rephrase this actually. Screw that. Screw what I've just said. I don't see Donald Trump coming back from this.
Nah, because what he'll just go back to running his business.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean,
That's all that
he's
will
already
happen. He'll go back to running
he's
his
already
business.
£349 million in debt. So
But he's also a billionaire. So as soon as he goes back to his business and makes billions, it'll be all right. That's
no,
the thing. While he's been president,
349 million in personal debt.
yeah, he can just
He's
take that
broke.
out of the. He can just take that out of the Trump business. He's
The
not been
Trump
allowed to
Empire,
touch
yeah.
any of he's not been able to touch his businesses or their finances during his term. So
No,
trust me,
because it would
if he's
be
in that much debt,
yeah, it would
so as
be
soon as he gets back into his office, he'll.
alleged, what's it called?
I
If he
don't know.
took money out,
Trust
God,
me,
they mention
he'll pay it off.
it. Yeah,
He makes that within like a few months.
yeah. To be fair,
Um,
I'm actually gonna Google. I know that it's not always accurate, but I'm gonna Google Trump's net worth. See if we
I
can find
can't
out.
even say if Biden wins because at the moment it's like when Biden wins,
Yeah.
what they're gonna do is the Democrats they're gonna well
Oh, his net worth's 2.5 billion this year. So I mean,
exactly. They're gonna activate Article 25, meaning Biden will be unfit to be president and Kamala Harris will be in charge.
yeah.
Kamala Harris is communist, just to point out. Well, allegedly. Apparently she's a socialist. Actually, no, she is a socialist, but allegedly she's communist. Now,
There's a
Liam,
very
you're
fine line, isn't there?
socialist is like the step
For the
below
people. Yeah,
communist.
socialist is for the people, for the people, for the people. I'm in charge, but for the people. Communist is for the people, but you have to listen to me. whatever, I suppose. But for the
For the
people,
people, boy.
yeah, it's small
For the
margins for what it is.
for the people, but you're on very low money and you have no aspirations for the future. For the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit like Boris when he has his pub open after 10. Again, we're all in this together, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But yeah, um, I don't even because I want to explain how I feel about Biden winning,
I
but
don't know
I
if we
don't want to
can.
get this in trouble. So
You
I'm
know
just going
what?
to say
You know what?
I
If
am
you want,
very happy.
tomorrow we'll make opinion. Tomorrow we'll make a video of our opinions, just a dedicated video, just us two. If it gets taken down, so be it. But because of everything about lockdown, I don't really want this podcast to be taken down. Because we're
Right.
covering a lot of topics. So if people want that, let us know. We'll give you our opinions, and hopefully tomorrow there'll be a full result, so we can do a full analysis. US election.
But for now, I am happy that Biden is in charge and he's going to be great. He's going to run for 74 years and be happy. Moving on. I
Okay,
think it's a
moving
sad
on.
state that
Moving
it's
on.
Biden and Donald.
Can we touch? I was about to say, can we touch on the fact that there is what 130? How many people in America? 130 mil?
300 million.
300 mil.
300
There's
million and only 100,
300.
100 million have voted.
Okay, there's that. So a third of the people haven't voted, but there is 300 million people. That is 5 times the amount of the UK. 300 million people, and they've got Donald Trump and Joe Biden as the two people that are the best to run the country. How?
Well, the thing with Donald is he has a good level of knowledge on. He knows what he's doing.
Donald's very
Like,
business savvy. If you want to build up an economy, you get Donald Trump.
it's not even
That's what
that.
America
He's very stern.
is. Yeah.
He. To be honest, this might get me in a bit of flack. He probably should have been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for causing peace with North Korea.
That will get you some flack.
I don't care.
But
I don't
you're a
like
very
the man,
opinionated person.
but you
And you
have
know
to
what?
give him his fair dues.
I don't know if you'll get a new Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know if you should get a Nobel Peace Prize for that. But what he did in North Korea was astounding. What he did in North Korea is something that,
He made peace with North Korea.
yeah, is
How's
something
it
that.
not worth that?
Well, now you put it like that.
He made Kim Jong Un his friend. Um, like I know, obviously, like before that, he also bombed that Iranian general. But the Iranian general was a bit of a penis.
But he was a bit of a
Like,
terrorist.
come on.
He was a bit of a terrorist. Like,
It's like I've when people ask me who do I prefer, and when I say I wanted Donald Trump to win, that was only because it was Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. They're the only two reasons why I wanted that. I don't like Donald as a person, but he's better than Hillary, the murderer, rapist helper, and Biden, a man who can't even remember his second name.
Biden, who thought he was
He's,
running against George Bush for half the election.
he thought he was running for Senate. There's a
It's
speech where he's like,
laughable.
and
It's laughable.
the reason why I'm running for Senate And you're just like, it's president. And he's like, what? Like, I just want one of his speeches where he's just talking, he's just rambling, and someone walks on stage, and it's like, come on, Joe, come on. He just walks off with them. Like, this isn't Tesco. I can't believe that man has not only run, but he's won. He's won. He can't even speak. Like, I know
It's
Donald
not.
Trump is. I don't care what I can say. He is better than Biden. Doesn't mean I think he's the best man for the job, but he's the best that they've got,
Like,
and
you
that
know
is
what? I've got
terrible.
87 subs. Fuck it. You know what, guys? Joe Biden is pro pro Germany against the UK. America is one of our biggest allies. Let's be honest. America is one of our biggest allies. The American people love the royal family and love the British. That's why we like each other. With Joe Biden in charge, he's gonna swing that. He's gonna side with Germany, which is gonna fuck us over anyway. And it's Joe Biden. He's 77 and he's in early stages of dementia. You should not be running for president when you
Um,
can't even remember your own fucking last name and the job you're running for. That's like some
I'm the
fucking
guy you're running
15 year
against.
old. Yeah, and the guy you're running against. That's some 15-year-old walking into Facebook, standing against Mark Zuckerberg, saying that he failed ICT and wants his fucking job.
Is can we also
It's
get
laughable.
discussing about? Can we also get discussing about his crackhead family?
Yeah, fuck it.
Crackhead,
Let's just
he,
go for it.
his crackhead paedophile family. His son Hunter Biden, the one who sleeps with his niece, who walks around the house naked, smoking weed and crack in front of his 14-year-old cousin or niece. His whole family are meth heads. And he's like going on about Donald getting payment from China. If Biden is in charge, China will take over America. He's one
Donald,
of China's biggest sympathizers. And again, he can't
Donald,
even remember his name.
Donald is against China, right? Because China wants to be the superpower that America is, and Donald is pro-America. Which, as a president, you need someone that's fucking pro-America and wants America to succeed. That's like someone walking into Boris's office and being like, you know what? I really like Italy. Can I be the Prime Minister of England? No, you fucking can't. Go suck the Prime Minister of Italy's cock if you
It's
like
no,
him
it's
that
just like
much.
to make it simpler. It's like me becoming general manager of McDonald's and an advertising Burger King. It makes no sense, and I am bemused by it. Like, again, I don't like Donald as a person. Like, he said some dodgy stuff and he's done some dodgy
No,
stuff.
I'm the same as
But
you.
he's
I
better
don't
than
like him.
Biden.
I don't like him as a person, right? He's an absolute arsehole. But, but, it's politics. Name a politician you like.
There's not
Exactly.
many. I don't
Exactly.
like Barack Obama, to be honest. I think Barack Obama, all he does is talk. He doesn't actually do anything. All he did was Obamacare. That was
Yeah.
it, and nearly start World War III with Russia.
Arwen.
Like,
Obama is loved because
because he can speak.
he's the nation's
That's all it is.
sweetheart. He's the
He
complete
is.
opposite of Donald. He's a nation's sweetheart. You know what? If I had to go to a drink, who would I go with? Donald Trump or Barack Obama? Obama, obviously. Lovely lad. You know what? Wanted to do well. The word
Lovely
is
lad.
wanted. The word is wanted, mate. The black community has come out and said they felt safer under Donald Trump, and you know what? That not many people, but not many black or LGBTQ plus people voted for the Republican Party. Joe Biden thought he was going to get a landslide victory because of the black and the gays. It hasn't happened. They like Trump. Trump actually has passed laws for them that Obama never
When
did, that Bush never did, that fucking uh, what's his name before that never did. They love him. That's why this election's so close. And Joe Biden
when
comes
the
out and it's just like,
Mexicans
yeah, okay, the Mexicans hate him, but the Mexicans don't have a vote.
no
So,
no the Mexicans have sided with Donald. Jorge Masvidal's come out and been like, yeah, I like Donald, man. I like Donald. Like, he called them rapists. Like, that I don't agree with.
no, obviously not.
Like, that's one thing I didn't agree with Donald for. And I find it funny when he goes, I've not had it easy. Well, I started off with a small loan of $1 million. Oh yeah, just a small loan.
Do you know what I find
Oh,
hilarious, right? You know the wall, let's be honest, they actually got constructing it. They actually got constructing this wall, but they left all their bricks
they
and
have to
building
finish it.
materials. They left all their bricks and building materials, right, at the site. Do you know what the Mexicans did? They
Took them.
stole the fucking bricks and now have really nice houses.
Yeah, I don't claim to say that Donald is too intelligent.
No, he's
Like
not.
he's a business mind. He's not Albert Einstein.
No.
Here's the thing. We're joking about it because we can. Why? It's not our country. At the end of the day, it's not going to affect us.
I mean,
It's them who are
it
going to
is,
be
it is.
affected.
It's going to affect
It'll
us, just
affect us a
not in the way,
tiny.
not in the way that it's going to affect America. We've got some American
If
friends. They're shitting
if come
themselves.
oh yeah, if Kamala Harris goes in charge, be prepared for a communist country. Hopefully, now because we got this new deal with Japan, Australia, and all that,
Canada as well, which is a big
we
one.
we Canada, we don't get affected by the communism.
No.
Which I don't think Boris is a weird sentence. I don't think he is that stupid. And that's another thing. Like everyone's gonna celebrate. Oh now we finally have a woman president. Yeah, you got the worst one you could possibly
You've
get.
got Kamala Harris. You've got fucking
Just saying.
Kamala Harris. Joanne 70 from Blackpool would do a fucking better job than her.
Joanne. Oh, bloody Joanne. Bloody Joanne. Um,
Oh my god. What did
I
we open with?
remember.
We're not gonna go into our opinions. Allegedly, guys,
Let
allegedly.
me let
Oh
me tell
god.
you something. Like, I'm green. I vote green from now on. In 2016, you had your perfect candidate in Jill Stein. She was with the Green Party. She she could point out all the issues like that. She could see everything that was wrong. She could have been the perfect first woman in charge. But who did you go with instead? You went with Hillary Clinton, a woman who came out and said, when she was a lawyer, that she helped a rapist who had raped a child because she needed a better reputation, even though she knew he was guilty. She helped him anyway because she has no soul. And now you've got Kamala Harris, the communist, who's going to ruin your country for the years to come. You could have had Jill Stein. You've got Kamala Harris, who's a puppet. One thing I do about Biden, I do feel sorry for him because he is just a puppet. He is
He's
a
even more of a
puppet for the
puppet.
Clintons,
Have you
who are
seen?
dodgy.
Have you seen the Senate vote at the moment?
Is Republican winning?
Yeah, they're gonna have a Republican Senate with a Democrat president.
So nothing's going to get decided.
So what's gonna happen is Biden and
Just going to
the Democrats are gonna come up with something. Go to the Senate. Can we pass this? No. The only laws that are going to get passed is probably some on COVID, probably some on restrictions of and social distancing. That's it. Any big financial change, they'll bring it down. Any big tax change, they'll bring it down, which is good actually. Americans don't need more tax, which Donald
yeah.
actually did really well by bringing down the tax laws. But it's going to be a caretaker president. Whether Biden survives the 4 years, which he won't.
Yeah, he could die in a minute.
No, I
If
didn't
he,
mean die. I didn't mean die, mate. I meant just like survive the term.
no, see, he could.
he could,
He could
he
die.
could die.
He's 77 and suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's. I don't know which one of the two it is.
I mean,
But either way, that's the point where it gets bad.
it's a memory loss disability. He forgets
It's not just
things.
if he has Alzheimer's, it can put you, even dementia as well, it can put you in fits of rage because you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing. Like, someone could be explaining something to you, you forget, and then they try and tell you again. You can be so confused. But one thing I want to bring up, Chris Benoit had CTE and he had the brain of an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient.
Ended up
Watch Joe Biden. Watch Joe Biden, 77,
77-year-old
showing the
Alzheimer's or
signs
dementia
of
patient.
Alzheimer's.
Oh, God.
Chris Benoit went crazy. You think Biden might not?
If people don't know, we don't like talking about this, but if people aren't wrestling fans and aren't in that business, Chris Benoit basically got dropped on his head so many times that he
Another
has
start, chair shots,
chair shots,
headbutts, and all
unprotected, his diving headbutt, unprotected shots to the head, and everything like that. It drove his brain that insane that he committed was it a double suicide murder?
that. Yeah,
He
killed his
killed his wife,
wife,
his
his
son,
son,
and
and
then
then
himself
himself.
because he couldn't live with it anymore, and he didn't want, in his own mind, he didn't want his son and his wife to go through what he was going through. So he killed all
What?
three of
Well,
them,
it wasn't.
which is
I don't think it
horrific,
was that.
and we don't really like to touch on things like that. That's what Eddie said in an interview.
What? Have you ever watched a Vice documentary on it?
No, I need to.
He,
That is on the top of my
he
YouTube watch list for when I get
put
home.
that one at the top, but both parts put that at the top, then put the Bruiser Brody one next.
Yeah,
Um, he placed Bibles by the bodies of his son and wife, which is it's just awful, and a very disturbing Google search they did was the resurrection of the mother and son in the Bible. I think he was that mentally gone, he thought they would come back.
yeah.
It's an awful situation because Chris Nowinski is the head of um, I don't know what it's called. I'm just gonna say he's like the head of like brain scans and like checking for concussions and all that
I
in
think he
sport.
is. Yeah, he is that role, but
And
it's got a specific.
because he used to be a wrestler as well, and he suffered 6 concussions, and he noticed a difference in his personality, so he stopped before it got too bad.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit went up to him in must have been weeks before the whole ordeal happened and said, "You've how many concussions have you had?" I've had six. What about you? And he went, I've had more than I can count. And he said, can you call me on this day next week?
Mm.
Chris Nowinski called him. I think it was, I'm not sure, but he was like Chris was mid argument and said, can you call me back?
Yeah.
And Chris Nowinski went, okay, okay, just let me know when to call you back. Chris never told him to call him back. And then obviously the whole murder suicide happened.
Yeah.
And I think what they experience is they experience a slight moments of realization. They notice something is going on. I wonder if Biden has experienced that, because I don't think he has. To be running for president, I don't even, I don't think he's reached a stage where he's realized something's wrong. I don't think he realizes anything's wrong at all, which is really bad. Because it's really sad to see an old man on stage who has no idea what he's talking about, and oh, look, now he's in charge of the whole country. It's sad to see,
It is sad.
and he's going to step. He's a puppet right now, and I feel awful for him. But it doesn't clear him for his wrongdoings either.
No.
He's had a racist past, just like apparently Donald has. The thing that Donald said in the 80s was that he wouldn't allow black men to stay in his apartments in New York because he'd turn them into crack dens, which is obviously not a great thing to say.
No.
But Biden has said dodgy stuff in the past as well.
Biden came out and um, signed the law of 1994, which means um, if you got searched and had drugs on you, um, basically you could be locked away. Not
Uh,
rehab, which Donald pointed out in one of the debates actually, but he signed that law, and then again this is an alleged one. This is what Donald said, so I don't know how true it is. Apparently there was another document signed that, because obviously when you're the president you can go through all prior documents. Apparently there's a document in the White House that was signed by everyone at the time in '92. I don't know who was president in '92, but basically telling
what year?
police to 1992.
That was Bill Clinton.
So Clinton basically saying for the um, oh god, what's it called? For the police officers to search. I think it was on average it was like four black men to one white man, one white man, and the amount of people that are still in prison now over drug related offences that are black is one of the reasons why America has no spaces left in the prisons. Like, and the reporter got behind it as well and was asking questions about it. It was in the second debate. So I don't know how much of that is actually true. But like it's true that he signed the law off, and it's true about the police law, which hasn't actually been publicised really. But
No, because
I'm
they
not sure
never
if he got
publicise
forced
anything
into
bad
it.
about.
I'm not sure if he got forced into it because of his party or anything. He didn't come out and defend himself or anything. But then he's like, "Oh, I vote. I got the black people behind me, and I've got the black vote." No, you don't. No, you don't.
This is off topic, but Bill Clinton, I love his voice with his apologies. Is like, I did not have sexual intercourse with that woman. And then just a few months later, when it's proven that he did, he's like, I did in fact have sexual intercourse with that woman. It's great. Um, just Biden's been in politics since the 70s.
Biden
Just
was
send him
called
to
an
a
old
home.
dinosaur by the national press in 1998. It's 2020.
Just saying, I want to point out something very, very suspicious. Allegedly, because
Allegedly.
it's not true, but it's just Donald Trump's like their campaign rallies that they go to where they do the speeches.
Yep.
His highest attendance was 50,000, and he'd been averaging around in between. I can't give you an exact number, but there was a lot of people going to see him,
Yeah.
and I think his lowest attendance was, I think it was like 1,000.
But
Not
knowing
Joe
this is
Biden's,
city by city, and American
yeah,
cities are widespread. Like, I'm not sure if people know about the
yeah,
geography of America, but there'll be a few
it's
houses
huge,
and then
huge.
probably 20 miles of road and then a few more houses, but they're in the same city.
I
Like,
remember
that's how it
discussing with our
works.
American friend. I remember discussing with our American friend. I was talking about how I was talking to someone, but I lived in one place and they lived like London, so it's like it's too long distance. Like in America,
That's nothing.
that's walking distance. So you could
That's
hike that.
here to London is what, about 89, 90 miles?
Yeah,
Something like that.
Americans walk that in a few days,
Yeah.
and they'll just travel like that. Mental. Anyway, my point on where was I? What was I saying before?
Oh,
I got
God.
lost.
Allegedly.
Let me forget. Oh,
The
allegedly,
rallies.
yeah.
The rallies.
Do Donald Donald's lowest attendance was 1,000 people at a rally, which is still fairly decent,
Yeah,
especially
that's
during
not
COVID.
bad. A, during COVID, and
Do you know what,
B, that was one of the really small states, wasn't it?
do you know
So,
what Biden's lowest attendance was? Try
probably
and guess.
about 20.
6.
6 people.
6 people.
What was his
Now,
highest?
no way near 50,000.
No.
No way near it. Now, I'm again, this is like, I'm not stating like facts. Actually, no, that one last one was a fact.
Yeah,
But
that's a fact.
I personally believe there has been some dodgy ongoings during this election. I can't fathom how little support Biden had during this, and yet he's got more. I don't. One thing
Not only
I think
has
the
he got
Democrat.
more, he has now recorded the most votes for a single person in American presidential history. He got more
I
votes than
don't. I don't.
Obama. He got more votes than who else won by a landslide?
He did.
Um,
But the thing is, he's not won by a landslide.
no, that's the point. He has the most presidential
They
votes
weren't in.
ever, and he still hasn't won by a landslide. How does that happen?
They, like they were not anticipate either. I don't think they were prepared for Donald to get 70 million as well.
No.
I don't think I was expecting that at all. I think they're going to panic now because it's going to court. Because realistically, I think it should count votes on the day, and I don't care if it's a late vote, it shouldn't count.
The only
Because you can't do
votes,
you can't do that over here.
I think the only quote unquote late votes that should count is military. Because that's understandable.
If you're in the military in Afghanistan or Iraq or the Middle East or fucking Northern Europe, if you're like SAS in Northern Europe or the equivalent of SAS, if your vote gets there a day late, that's probably understandable because it's gone across the whole fucking globe. But if you can't be asked to put your postal vote in the post, it shouldn't count.
Should not count at all. If you would have done it on the day where that specific day was for the voting, if you take away all the late mail votes, Donald's won this.
By a fucking
That's what it's going
landslide.
to court over. That's what it's going to court over, and the other dodgy stuff that's going to be brought up. But that's why it's going to court. Because realistically, if I was in charge of the whole thing, I'd go, no, mate, doesn't count, I'm afraid. It's like me going, like, the day after and just being like, oh, by the way, Labour. Oh, what do you mean we didn't win? I voted for them. Oh, what do you mean it don't count? It's a stupid one. And
I
if
think the Americans. Do you know what also does the Americans wrong? The fact that me and you can see a live update of every single percentage point. They should do it like the UK. The polls, the security guards get there at 6 a.m. The polls open at 10 a.m. It shuts at 8 p.m. We don't find out who's won, we don't find out the votes until the next day, until everything's counted, and then we have a clear winner.
hmm,
Because if you're going to do fraud in a country, you're going to do fraud in a country where you can see every single vote and how many allegedly wrong votes or fraudulent votes that you can put out. If you know you're 300,000 behind, you know to get the victory you need to be 5% over, let's say 0.5% over, let's say 2 million, so you need to be 100,000 votes over, so you're going to do 470,000 to make sure fraudulent votes, then you're guaranteed the victory of that state. Was it Pennsylvania, the thing that I sent you, where Biden had 128,000 votes consecutively without Donald Trump receiving one?
that's what I mean by it's dodgy. It,
Again, right, we're
like,
going to make sure again, this is all alleged, this is everything we've read in the
yeah,
press that
this
could
isn't
be wrong,
fact. Like,
but
it could, yeah, we could be wrong with this, but come on, you're
it
telling
seems
me
dodgy.
120,000 were all for one person in a
In a row.
state
In a row.
that Donald is known for being the favourite in.
Yeah.
Sorry, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And
If everything comes
they
out
need to.
and everything's legal and it's just the postal voting system because of COVID, fair enough. Congratulations, Joe.
I want.
You won fair and square. But there's something telling me that even if it's a tiny bit of dodginess, I think something's gone on. It's probably because of the
I
news
think
sites
so as
I'm
well.
reading and what news I'm getting, which again is part of the process. Why could I, as a UK citizen, log on to CBS News or BBC News or fucking Google because it's front page of Google and see every single vote coming in of the election? Why can I do that? Like,
Something I saw earlier. Something I saw earlier was on Instagram. Looking at the comments when it said where Donald Trump is filing a lawsuit and the election will go to court.
yeah.
And comments were like, God, he's such a sore loser. God, Biden all the way. Do your research if you're really cheering Biden on. I want to make. I think we should make this the final point because again, a lot of it we still don't know. We might have to make another one on this.
I feel like
Actually,
us
no.
two
Oh
making
no,
another
we
video
are
on
gonna have
Lockin's.
to.
Yeah,
We are gonna have to make one of this because we've still got a lot more to talk about that hasn't come out yet.
mate,
But I think the
we've
final point is actually no. You say yeah, then I'll say the final
okay,
point.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna make it. We have been invested in the presidential election. We've been talking about it for about 6 months, haven't we? We've been
We
following
have.
it for about 6 months. So I would want to make another video anyway. A, when the final vote is announced, which could be as late as next Tuesday, but also when the lawsuit's going on, and I want to keep track of it because I'm kind of interested by it, and I know Kiernan's as well. So I feel like I want to keep track of it if you're down to, and like track it.
Been keeping track of US politics since 2016.
Exactly.
Like I can't say before that I was a massive fan, but when it was Donald and Hillary, I got really concerned. And I was like, I need to research about this. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to be, I'm going to be wanting Hillary. Then when I went and found out, oh my God, Hillary is a monster. Can't have her. Um, my final point is the US seriously needs to start taking their voting more seriously.
Yep.
Something I said to my parents today, they pay more attention about what they order from McDonald's than who they want in charge of their country. They don't know that there's other parties. They call it a waste of a vote. Not if you actually did something with it, you idiots.
Why?
Over
Why?
here,
Because we both voted green. Is that a waste of a vote?
over here, the Scottish National Party did very well in this most recent election.
It did. I'll tell you what
They
did
did
do
better
well.
than Lib Dem.
The Brexit, but you know the European election,
Yeah.
European Parliament election, where we vote for who we want in European Parliament. I'm going to be the first to say
Yeah.
I voted Brexit Party. I
Mm,
actually voted Nigel Farage, not because I like him, but just because I wanted Brexit to be fucking over with. And I was like, you know what? If anyone's going to get
that's the
something right for
thing.
the UK and get the negotiations down, probably Nigel Farage.
And like I said, you had your perfect candidate
Yeah.
in Jill Stein, and you let her pass because you decided not to do your research, and you don't take third parties seriously. In the UK, Green Party, they've got one seat. That's like the first seat they've got. They can write. Scottish National Party, they've got loads now. What was it, 16 they
16?
had?
Yeah.
More than Lib Dem. Lib Dem are supposedly the third biggest party.
They had four.
Um, the four ones in America are Republican, Democrat,
Democrat.
Libertarians,
Yeah.
which is usually run by an absolute nutcase, but better than Donald and Biden,
Well, the Libertarians
or Green.
have actually the Greens. The Libertarians are the third party this time. Because every single state I've checked, Libertarians come in third.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Libertarians have done well this time. They're always that's the third biggest party there, and Green is always behind. Then you get the other ones because I remember in 2016 actually no, in 2012 when it was Obama versus Mitt Romney. In 2016, Mitt Romney was running again just for a other party.
Mm.
I think it was something like the Business Party or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Americans need to seriously take their third parties more seriously and start to think, hang on, Democrat and Republicans not doing too well as of recent. Because if you look at the history, Donald done fairly well,
I'd
not
say
not been completely
Donald's.
perfect.
I'd say Donald's has been a mild success. I think. I
Yeah,
think most
I'd say
Americans
I'd
would
say it's
agree
been
with me.
I'd say Donald's been a success. Obama didn't do anything, so it's not a success, but it's not a failure either.
Didn't do anything, but I tell you what he did do. He improved the school system a lot, and he did put a lot of money into getting underprivileged kids with no money into the school system and trying to put a plan to get like the older ones into universities and colleges. So for that, that was a success. But apart from that, I can't think of anything major that he did.
Okay, we'll lean him more towards the success side, but again, he didn't really do much. Who
No,
was before him? Was it George? Was it George Bush?
George W. Bush.
Yeah, massive failure,
Yep.
huge failure. Who was before? Who was before him?
It wasn't Reagan, was it?
No. What?
2002
Was it Clinton?
US president.
Was it Clinton?
No, it was George W. Wait, what? It can't be
Wait,
right.
what?
Hold on.
Wait, what? Wait on a minute.
List of US presidents. Oh, I don't want it in fucking order. I want it in the opposite way. Yes. Right, okay.
Yeah,
Presidents.
it was Bill Clinton. It
So
goes
it was
Barack
Don.
Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, then George H.W. Bush, which is
Yeah,
George Bush's dad. So Bill Clinton, colossal failure
I forgot.
because it was just
I
very
forgot Bush had two
controversial.
terms. So I googled
George
2002.
Bush's dad, God, the Bush family just failures.
Sucked.
Ronald
Then Ronald
Reagan.
Reagan. Ronald Reagan did well
Reagan
for
was
America.
fairly successful.
Yeah.
He was fairly successful. I know the Cold War didn't end until like 1991, but he did put an end to the Cold War.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter, I don't know much.
I don't know
I know
much about
Richard
Carter.
Nixon was a huge failure.
Yeah.
Richard
Gerald
Nixon's the only
Ford.
president to actually step down.
Gerald Ford only had 3 years.
Yeah, because he took over from Nixon.
Yeah. Don't know
Kennedy,
anything
he
about
could have been
Johnson.
something.
JFK could have done very well, but
He
obviously.
involvement with the mafia, and then at this point, I don't know too much.
Eisenhower, I don't know. Thurman, I don't know. Roosevelt.
I know Theodore
Roosevelt did well.
Roosevelt, he was decent.
Yeah.
Who was the
Apparently,
first one? Oh, it was
apparently
George
Hoover was.
Washington.
First one was Washington. Then it was John Adams. Then Jefferson. Then Madison. But after that, I don't know. The first
Abraham
four.
Lincoln, he was fairly successful till he got assassinated as well.
John Tyler did well in the
I have
mid
no idea.
1800s.
I have no idea at this point. The only two I know is Thomas Jefferson and George Washington at that point.
George Washington. That is. Do you know why why the two-term systems is now like a law?
Why?
Because you can only have two terms, can't you? George
Yeah.
Washington was meant to be running against Thomas Jefferson and John Adams back in 1798, but basically stepped down and said, "I've built this country. We have built this country from the ground up. That's all the founding fathers. I want to go back and live the rest of my life under a great nation that I've built." And actually wrote in a law that you can only do 2 terms and then you have to enjoy your retirement.
Yeah.
And that law has never changed from 1797.
Maybe they should change it.
I think they should change it.
Because in England or in Britain, you can run for as long as you can.
I mean, in Germany, they've had, what's her name, for 20 years? 16 years? Was it 2004?
God, isn't it a scary thought that Boris could actually run for the rest of his life?
Oh my god.
And once in America, because Donald Trump served all of his 8 years, he can't run again. Whereas Donald, now that he's lost this, he could run again,
Yeah.
but he'd only be able to serve 4 years.
Mm. I didn't know
Um,
Jefferson had 2 terms. No,
I
Madison did.
think, I think, I think Donald's son is going to run for president one day,
Mm.
and I really like his son. His son is really funny. He knows what he's doing. He's ran Donald's business while he's been away,
Yeah.
running the country. Um,
Clinton has
yeah,
always been in the lane in the what's it called? In the running for president, haven't there? There's always been a Clinton.
Clinton's always involved, but he's also a rapist along with his wife, who's a murderer. So we'll carry on
No,
with
I
that
mean the
without
Clinton
his
name,
name.
mate.
Yeah,
Because one of the 7 founding fathers was George Clinton.
is Bill Clinton his relative?
I believe great granddad.
Jesus, that's
I'm
how
gonna have to
screwed that
check
country
that,
is.
but I believe great granddad. Um, he was in office for 7 years, and he was vice president to Jefferson and Madison. Um, maybe it's just a coincidence. It's just saw 2015. Person. Legacy.
Anyway, I think we should touch upon, uh, as that was the final thing about the presidency, we should touch upon the boxing quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
This
be
is the
talking
bit
about
that
it.
people enjoy. You teaching me boxing.
So, do you know about any fights that are happening?
Coming up.
We'll
You've
stick
got
to heavyweights. We'll stick
okay.
to the
You've
heavyweight
got
division.
Joshua fighting in December,
Yep.
and you've
Against who?
also got no idea,
Who's he fighting?
no idea.
Cover up Pulev.
Pulev, that's the guy. There's also another
You've
big
got
fight on the same day, isn't there? 12th
Joseph
of
Parker
December.
versus Junior
Parker.
Farr
Yeah.
against
Obviously
Junior
you've got the
Farr
Mike
as well.
Tyson fight coming up. Um,
We do indeed.
um,
Do you know what belt that's for?
WBC.
WBC Frontline Battle belt.
There you go. I got the company right. Took some digging. Tyson wants to fight early next year. I know that.
No,
No.
no, he's fighting December 5th.
Oh, he's actually got a fight. Okay.
And I'll guide you through the big ones, and I'll talk about some more minor ones, and I'll explain who they are.
Okay.
Right, so obviously you got Tyson Fury. Technically doesn't have an official opponent yet, but the name that's being said is a guy called Ajit Kabiel. Ajit
Right.
Kabiel is 20-0. He's never lost. Got 13 knockouts. He's beaten Derek Chisora
Big name.
by decision as well, just like Usyk.
Yep.
Um, Decent heavyweight, young heavyweight. He's been slowly rising, and the past couple of years he's had really bad luck with injuries and fights. So he's not been the most active, but
Yep.
he's a decent heavyweight for Tyson to keep busy with while he waits for Joshua.
Yeah. And also, like,
Speaking of Joshua,
if he can beat Tyson, that's massive for his career. And Tyson likes taking people's O's off of them, doesn't he? So
He does, yes.
it's a fight that
Tyson
works for
does
both
like
parties.
that. That's the thing I notice. Um, because for the Fury fight, the WBC, Ring Magazine, and Lineal heavyweight titles will be on the line. But the other world title fight is Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. See, there's a trend. Fury likes to take the O's off people.
Yeah.
Joshua likes to fight either the current crop of like top tens or the old crop
Yeah.
who have like lost like before. So Kubrat Pulev, 28 and 1 defeat coming to Vladimir Klitschko, which is nothing to be ashamed of. But it wasn't the best Klitschko. Like it was only 2 years out from that Tyson Fury loss.
Yeah.
So do I think Pulev's going to put down much of a challenge up? No.
I think
Comfortable Joshua
win.
win,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Comfortable Joshua win. It's for the WBA, IBF, WBO, IBO World Heavyweight titles.
So every single belt Joshua has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other world title fight with Dillian White and Povetkin was supposed to be for November, but that's been called off because Povetkin's been diagnosed with coronavirus and he's actually in hospital. He's not in a good way with it,
Yeah.
which isn't good at all. So I hope he recovers well. And it's sounding like that date's going to get pushed back to January 30th
Okay.
for that fight. And that will be for the WBC interim title and potentially the Diamond Belt as well. We're not sure on that one yet. Then some of the others. There's Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce.
I did know that one was coming up. I just forgot to say.
Essentially, winner goes to world level.
Yeah.
If Daniel Dubois wins, if Joshua decides to fight Fury instead of Usyk, then he will vacate the WBO
I
belt.
thought the U6
And
fight was
Usyk,
mandatory.
yeah, it is. So Joshua will have to vacate. It's a mandatory, but you don't have to do it. But if you don't do it, you lose the belt.
Right. And then Daniel Dubois will take
So
on Usyk for the vacant title.
for the vacant WBO belt,
Yeah.
yes.
If he
But
wins.
if Joe Joyce wins, then Joshua and Usyk are in a weird one because it will be then Usyk versus Parker, and I think Parker is a hard matchup for Usyk. I really do. Because Parker's really good. I know he's got 2 losses to Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. He's a very good fighter. And he's
But,
still
I
young.
mean, it's Dillian White and AJ. Like, again, they're not bad losses
No,
to
they're
have.
not. Not at all.
They're both top talents.
Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce will be fighting for the European, the British, and the Commonwealth title. The last time I remember all 3 of them belts on the line, it was Billy Joe Saunders against Chris Eubank Jr.
That's 2 big
That's the
names
last time. This was
in the
like
British boxing scene.
2014. This is 2014. This is 6 years ago. Like I've waited a long time for this.
So what's
There
happened
was
to the
another
belts during
fight.
those 6 years? Have they all
Well,
been...
just loads of people have held, and the British
Oh, okay.
title's just been passed around. They all get passed around. That's what it is. It's a rare occasion that this happens. From what I remember, the European belt for a long period in the 2010s it was held by Kubrat Pulev.
Yeah.
British belt was passed around. Commonwealth again passed around. They're not significant titles.
They're not
I remember Joe
worlds.
Joyce
Well,
holding the Commonwealth. Joe Joyce held Commonwealth for I think like well over a year. But yeah, those belts are on the line. Then I'd say the next biggest fight out of them is Joseph Parker versus Junior Farr. That's for the WBO interim Oriental title.
Yeah.
Um, Parker wins. He could line himself up a fight with Usyk because Usyk will have to decide whether it's Dubois or Parker he wants to face. Um, if Farr wins, then Farr gets established as a credible heavyweight because he's 19-0. He's the unbeaten one. They've faced each other 4 times already, all 4 being in the amateurs. Parker has 2 wins and Farr has 2 wins. They've
Interesting.
never, they've never stopped each other. That have all been decision losses and all that.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting fight this because in the pro rank, obviously Joseph Parker is a former world champion. Junior Farr has not had the most significant career. He's 19-0, but the best guy he's faced is a guy called Devin Vargas. I'll touch upon it again him soon. He's got a fight. And Junior Farr hasn't fought in well over a year. Whereas Parks had a fight this year in February against Sean Del Toro Winters, and where he TKO'd him in the 5th round. So he got some rounds into. He's gonna be fit for this one. The
Okay.
height difference between them two, I didn't realize this. Parker's 6'4". Junior Farr's like 6'7". Like he's a fair bit taller than Parker.
Right.
So that
I've
might play in the factor.
I've got a question. So I've just
Yes.
googled heavyweight boxing coming up, and apparently there's a brand new division being made called the Super Cruiserweight. What is that?
Yeah, for the WBC,
Yeah.
it's a horrible idea.
Well, they
They're making a weight class
Tony
between
Bellew
crew.
wants Wilder versus Usyk as like for the vacant title.
It would
It's
ruin the
really
heavyweight
bizarre.
division,
Hmm.
and it's not going to be called the Super Cruiserweight division. They'll give it a different name, but I
Yeah,
don't know
I
what
mean
other name
that's
you
in
could give it.
um, quotation marks. So I thought that
The
might be
problem with
funny.
they don't want to call it the Super Cruiserweight division because the Cruiserweight division, as horrible as it sounds, is a bit of a joke division. Because whenever they're like, "Oh, I'm Cruiserweight champion," they're like, "Go on, mate, jump up and fight the heavyweights." That's what it is. It's just a gateway to the heavyweight division.
I was about to say it's literally just between the 170 and 175 and 200, right? Because 175 is light heavyweight and 200 is heavyweight, right? Pounds.
Well, it goes heavyweight, cruiserweight, light heavyweight, super middleweight, middleweight, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Um, yeah, I just think and it's not from it's just for the WBC. That's all I know. That they're the only ones that will be trying to do it.
So what weight class would that be? Because you've got light heavyweight,
I
which is
don't,
175 to 200. Sorry,
I
cruiserweight,
don't know
which is
what it would
175
be.
to 200.
I
So
don't know what it'd be.
185 to
But a fight,
200, and then you've got one. So I don't know.
the fight would be Usyk versus Wilder.
Yeah,
That's what it would be.
yeah.
Um, um, yeah, the WBC is only happening in that division. It would be Usyk versus Wilder. Silly fight to make. Like that is a huge heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
That'd just
You
be
want Usyk
stealing.
versus Wilder in the heavyweight. You don't want it in this B-Tech heavyweight division.
I
Right.
can understand Tony Bellew's frustrations with like the cruiserweight division not getting its recognition, but you literally for your 2 biggest fights of your career, you left that division to go fight David Hay in heavyweight division.
Yeah.
The silly one for me. Um, some other fights that are happening. there's a fair few prospect fights happening. There's Filipa Govic versus Rydell Booker. Filipa Govic is a very good heavyweight up and coming. Just every punch he throws, it's like he's trying to knock you out. Big Croatian Donny.
Big
Um,
Croatian Donny, I love that.
Tony Yoka versus Christian Hammer. Decent fight to make. That was originally David Allen's opponent for the Chisora Usyk undercard, but he got coronavirus, so now Hammer's going to fight Yoka instead, which is a bit disappointing for David Allen, I can imagine. But that's how it is. Frank Sanchez Fare, which is like an American, well, he's from Cuba, but he mainly fights in America.
Yeah.
He's fighting a guy called Brian Howard, who's a 40-year-old cruiserweight coming up. So it's not that impressive of a fight. Bit of a joke fight, really. And Luis Ortiz is fighting as well.
Right.
He's a he's a top 10 heavyweight. His only two losses coming to Deontay Wilder. Um, he's fighting a guy called Alexander Flores, who has two losses on his record. One coming to Parker, who knocked him out in the third round. So again, don't expect anything special from this one. It's just going to be Luis Ortiz taking him out. That's the scene right now, really. Now fights are starting up again.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder's comments are a bit silly right now.
Do you see lockdown, this second wave, affecting the boxing again?
No, boxing's been given the clear.
Yeah. I thought it had.
Yeah, they've been given the clear to carry on as they were. Well, not being funny, it's only a month long, so surely it can't affect it that much unless they want to extend the lockdown
Which I think they will, but
against
that's a different.
against their promises.
Yeah.
Um, I'll give my review on Usyk Chisora quickly. We watched that fight together.
Did it was a good
Well,
fight.
not together, but on the same screen.
It was a good fight. Like,
Good fight. At the time, we all were swaying towards Usyk, and we scored a quite dominant win for Usyk.
yeah, we
I've
scored it
reviewed it
either
too.
11-1 or 10-2, didn't we? But you've watched it back, and you're saying now 8 rounds to 4.
Well, I originally scored it 119 to 109 in
Yeah.
favour of Usyk.
I did.
I've now changed
Is
it
that
to
11? Is that 11 rounds to 1?
116.
Because that's what
Yeah.
I did as well. Yeah.
And I've reviewed it twice, and I've now scored it 116 to 112. And I've seen an interview with Tony Bellew where he's like, the judge who had him 5 rounds ahead, that's just really harsh. Mate, I know Chisora was swinging, but in some of those rounds he wasn't hitting him at all. And Usyk's footwork is just a work of art.
The one that jumps out to me is the second round. Like, I know in that second round he just came out swinging, but Usyk, he took an uppercut early on, and he took a right hook about 2 minutes in, but apart from that I can't think of a punch that landed. Whereas Usyk was
No,
going in, dropping in, doing the double jab, and either a hook or a double jab, trying the uppercut, and just was dancing around him, and just landing punches. They weren't spectacular punches, they weren't knockout punches, but they were
they were so
definitely enough.
precise.
They were definitely just enough just to rack up the points and just get the dub.
Usyk's punches are so precise, it's amazing.
Yeah. And that combo, I think it was the
Honest.
8th round from Usyk, was just...
Well, when it rocked him.
Yeah. No, it's the
See,
7th
the
round,
round
wasn't it?
was.
It
Yeah,
was the
oh, my
7th, yeah.
mistake. It's very confusing. Um, I scored round 1, 2, 4, and 11 for Chisora.
Yeah.
The rest Usyk won. Third round was close. Maybe the fifth round was a bit close as well. Maybe the 10th as well.
Maybe
But
that's
other
it,
than
actually,
that,
because you scored it 4-8, and the judges scored it 5-7. So, maybe it was like the 3rd or the 5th round that, like, just swayed them.
I remember Tony saying, I wouldn't have been surprised if Chisora got given the decision. And I was like, I'd have been very surprised.
Yeah,
He didn't win the fight.
that's for
He
sure.
looked defeated afterwards. He was so exhausted. Whereas Usyk, as soon as the bell rings, he's like, Anthony, hello, my friend. And then Anthony's at the side going, Usyk, I'm coming for you. And then you just hear Usyk do this like loud Russian or Ukrainian like
Oh, the build up to fucking Usyk just, oh, it was so
Derek,
Derek. The one
I'm
where he's
coming for
running on
you,
the beach.
Derek. I
Derek.
ran Derek.
Oh god.
Anyway, that's all I got really touch upon. There's not really
Mm.
too much going on right now until the
Is there
results come in.
anything else sport related you want to throw in?
Nothing that comes to mind, no. Apart from United's demise, but I don't really want to touch upon that right now.
Go watch episode 9 of the podcast.
Yeah,
2.5 hours
just
of
watch
Kim
that.
ranting about Man United. You know what as well? I've been thinking, I don't know who will actually get to this point of the video, because I know Jim's had to go, Jim's dropped out. But if anyone's watching this and you actually made it this far, A, how the fuck have you done that? But B,
You've got too much time on your hands.
yeah, you do. I mean, I am gonna like tell people to go to the timestamps and look at our America rant, because I reckon that's quite good content actually. But if you have made it this far as well, I was thinking if next week or the next time we do this, after we do the full American US presidency rundown, which will probably be a podcast or a dedicated video, I'm not even sure yet. Would you like to do like an interview style podcast? So
Well, who would be
me
interviewing?
asking you questions and you asking me questions, kind of thing.
Well, we could do.
It was just a thought that I had earlier. Could
Could
probably
do it.
discuss it after, but I
We've
don't know.
done
Something
similar stuff to that.
we have.
Well, when you asked me about United and all that,
Yeah, but I'm
obviously
talking like a
the
proper.
rest.
You know, like Jack, mate, like 3 weeks ago, um did the co-host class. I forgot his name. I love him. Something White.
Stevie.
Stevie White, that's
Stevie.
it. Yeah, Stevie. Asking Jackmate questions. But it was only dedicated to Jackmate. I was wondering if we wanted to like do a full interview, so me asking you questions for the first hour, you asking me questions for a second hour, and just do that.
Could do that,
Because we've never actually
yeah. Well,
really shared anything, have we?
no,
Like, we've shared stories about Brownston, but people don't really know us. It could be a good thing, but we'll discuss it after. We'll discuss it
some
after.
things,
But
yeah.
if you lot want to see that, then drop it down. Or any other suggestions you want for a podcast, any topics or anything, drop that down in the comments as well.
Mm,
So
sounds like a good idea.
yeah. So
Well,
Kia,
this is.
go on.
I I was just gonna say I feel like I should probably end this now.
That's where I was
We've
going
been
to.
going on for
I was
what, 2 hour
about,
30 now.
I was about to say, Kian, do you want to do the ending? Like always.
Your thing, your bad,
Disappointing. I was expecting a lemonade quote. Disappointed, mate. But on that bombshell, that is true. That is true. Anyways, guys, thank you all very much for watching tonight. On that, I fucked it. Pick me up as I'm better. I fucked it. Oh, he's done it. He's done it.